Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Today we are talking about the e.l.f. Mad for Matte palettes. I really want to do kind of like a showdown of these palettes and share with you guys what the differences are between each palette, what I think about each palette, and then I'm also going to show you guys looks that I created with each palette, like little kind of mini tutorials throughout this video. So if you want to hear my thoughts and figure out which palette is best for you, then just keep watching. So if I sound a little different, I am under the weather right now. I have kind of like a sinus infection, upper respiratory thing going on with asthma. It's so much fun. So I'm on some medicine, so hopefully I'm going to be on the mend. So if I seem like a little low energy, a little weird, that's probably why. Not probably why, that is why. But when it comes to talking makeup, I am never too under the weather to do that. I love talking about makeup, and I've been really excited to share with you guys this video. So let's go ahead and just talk about the Mad for Matte palettes. So they are $10 each. You do get 10 shadows in each palette. So I love that in each palette they did give you kind of like a matte white, ivory cream type of shade, and then also a matte black shade. Okay. Let's go ahead and just talk about each palette kind of as a whole and what I love about each palette, because I do love each palette for their own reasons. So the Nude Mood, I love this palette because this is like the best basic palette because you just get all the neutrals. You know, you get like some light shades, some mid-tone shades, some deep shades. It's not too warm, it's not too cool, it's just in the middle. You get it all right here for 10 bucks. What I love about the Summer Breeze palette is just the color tone. I love a good warm eyeshadow palette with some purple. I am wearing this one today and I just think it looks really flattering. I don't know, it just looks like a sunset on your eyes and I love that. I love mixing kind of the pinks and the orange and the purple all together, but you still could do a really kind of neutral look with just some of the brown shades in here as well. You don't have to go too warm if you don't want to, but I usually do with this palette because I love those types of looks. The Holy Smokes palette is definitely more cool toned. You do get like one warm tone shade in here, which is this one, but everything else is pretty cool toned. I really enjoy this palette because you don't have to go super smoky. As you guys will see when I show you all my little demos or tutorials, whatever you want to call them, I didn't go really smoky with this palette because I wanted to show you guys that you don't have to. You can still do a really nice everyday work appropriate look with this palette. You do get some nice colors in here. You know, you get like a deep teal and a deep blue, but overall everything is pretty neutral. You take those two shades out and it's just a nice neutral palette. It definitely has more dark shades than it does mid-tone or light shades, but again, I think that's kind of where the whole Smokes kind of name comes in. And then the Jewel Pop palette. This palette is so much fun. I love this palette. I did do kind of a smokier look with this one. This is just the best companion to any of the other palettes. This one is like a palette that you could buy and then use with all of your neutral shadows, and this could just be your one colorful palette. And I love it. I love the purples, I love the blues, I love the greens. Everything really works nicely together. I feel like the blue works really nicely with the greens, the blues work really well with the purples work really well with the oranges. Like everything just works together, and they still gave you a really nice amount of like neutral shades to anchor the look. So I can do a full look with this palette because you get the matte cream and you get a matte black. But you also get two nice transition shades right here. The orange is in the middle of them. One's warmer, one's cooler. So I like that you can kind of get a full look with this palette, even though, but just glancing at it, you might not think that. Also, this purple right here, this deeper one, it doesn't come off super bright on the eyes. So you can still wear that every day and not be like, whoa. And also with these, because they are matte, you can really diffuse these into the crease and get some color, but not have it be too much color. So I love that this is a colorful palette, but you can easily do a full look with it. Let's go ahead and I'm going to share with you guys some swatches of all of these palettes. Let's start off with the Nude Mood. As you guys will see in the swatches, everything is super neutral. You get a ton of mid-tone shades in this palette. The black, I would say in here, I don't even know if I would call it a black. I would say it's more of a deep charcoal type of color, but you get some warm tones and some cool tones. Next, let's go in with the Summer Breeze swatches. So this, as you guys will see, super warm. I love it. You do get a few cool tones kind of thrown in here, but I really enjoy this palette. Nothing is too dark except for that black, and nothing is too bright. Everything is very mid-tone, but because of the difference in colors, you do get some different looks with it, and it doesn't look too muddy. Okay, moving on to Holy Smokes. So this is definitely deeper than all of the other palettes. You get a nice mixture of warm and cool toned. I would say overall it does pull more cool toned. The blue and the green are not that different, especially once you get them on the eyes, as you guys will see in the swatch. It's definitely, the green is like a deep teal, so it doesn't look super different from the blue, but it is a really nice palette and I do enjoy it. And then last but not least, let's talk about the Jewel Pop palette. So as you guys will see, these colors can really pack a punch, but there are some really nice neutral shades, like I was saying, to really anchor all of the looks. I love this palette. I just think it's beautiful and it's a really nice formula. So let's go ahead and talk about the formula overall. Overall, I think the formula is really nice. It's a little bit patchy and a little inconsistent. So from each shade in each palette, there are some shades that I would swatch and I would go, wow, this is really nice and soft and smooth. And there would be other ones that I would kind of have to press a little bit harder. Some of them over time, as I have used them, they have gotten hard panned, so you just want to scratch off the top. That's when kind of a hard layer comes over the shadow, and you just want to scratch it off to really get that nice pigment and powderiness that you want in a shadow for it to blend. These don't blend super great. You do have to work with them a little bit. They are not going to be like a CoverGirl True Naked. Those are a really powdery formula, so they blend so effortlessly. These take a little bit more work to blend, but they are blendable. You can do it. They do come off somewhat patchy a little bit. Again, it just kind of depends on the shade. But I think if you are someone who's just starting out, or if you're like me and you love makeup and you are a collector of the Mad for Matte palettes, you won't be disappointed with these. Again, they take a little bit more work than some other palettes, but you can get really beautiful looks with them. So with that being said, let me go ahead and we will jump into the tutorials and I will show you guys all the looks I created with these palettes. Okay, so we're going to go in with the Matte Made, the original one. I think it's now called the Nude Mood, and we are going to get a really smoky look today, as you guys can see. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go in with this brown shade right here, and I'm going to put that all over the lid. Inner corner, all the way out to the outer corner. And I'm really packing this shade on. It's a nice warm brown kind of color. And I'm also pulling that a little bit up into the crease, as you guys can see. So we're gonna go in with this one right here now. It's a warmer brown, but it's not super warm. And we're just gonna blend out the edge of that. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of the shade right next to it, this one right here, which is a little bit lighter and a little bit more peachy. And I'm just going to put that right on the edge to sort of soften everything out that way. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brown pencil and just line my upper lash line. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to smudge this out. So as you guys can see, that line is not perfect, but that is totally okay. So now I'm going to take a smudge brush and I'm going to go in with this deepest brown right here in the palette. It's a nice, really deep chocolate shade. And I am going to smudge that line out. Okay, now I'm going to take that same color on a really flat brush and I'm going to push that onto my lower lash line. And then I'm going to go over it again with the first shade that we used in the palette, that brown, that really nice warm color. And I'm going to do the same thing and bring it all the way in. And then I'm going to take a pencil brush and I'm going to go in with this shade right here and blend that out. I'm going to go in with that brown pencil as well and use that on my lower inner lash line. Now that I have mascara on, we're going to highlight the inner corner and the brow bone, and I'm going to take the matte cream shade in this palette and put that on the inner corner just to kind of brighten things up, and then also on the brow bone. And this is the final look. Okay, so we're gonna go in with the Summer Breeze Matte for Matte palette today. And what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna set my primer using the matte cream shade, and I'm just gonna put that all over the lid and up into the crease and onto the brow bone. Next, we're gonna go in with the warm, peachy, kind of light transition shade in the palette, this one right here, and we are gonna put that all in the crease on a nice fluffy brush. Okay, next we're going to go in with the matte purple shade in the palette on a smaller kind of pencil brush, and we're really just going to work this on the outer corner. I'm going to start at the lash line and then just kind of bring it up. And then I'm going to go in with the darker kind of peachy red shade in the palette right there on a smaller crease brush and blend out that purple shade. I'm going to go back in with the first shade that we used right here on a crease brush again, like a nice big fluffy brush, and blend that out. And then for the lower lash line, I'm going to go in with the matte purple shade and put that on the, just smudge that on the lower lash line. Okay, so all I did was add a brown liner to my upper waterline and a nude liner to my lower waterline, throw on some mascara, and this is the look with the Summer Breeze palette. Okay guys, it is time for the Holy Smokes palette. I am doing a look today that is not super smoky because I wanted to show you guys that while yes, this palette is called the Holy Smokes, you don't have to do a smoky eye every single time you use this palette. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by setting my eyeshadow primer with the matte white shade in the palette and just put that all over from inner corner to outer corner, lash line to brow bone. And then with a fluffy brush, I'm going to go in with this lightest brown right here, the third shade into the palette, as my transition shade. Next, I'm going to go in with this medium brown shade in the palette right here. And I'm going to do a little bit of like packing on that color on the outer corner and blending it inward. And then I'm going to go in with this warm transition shade right in the middle of the two shades we've already used and kind of buff that on the outer corner, or on the outer edge of the look, I mean, and sort of blend that inward kind of all over everything else to sort of just warm things up a little bit, and this will help make it look a little less muddy. And I really don't want to lose the brightness, so I go back in with the matte white shade and just pack that on the inner corner again. Sort of overlap everything just to really make sure it stays really nice and bright. And then I'm just going to blend again. I feel like this eye could use a little bit more of the darkest brown that we used, which is this medium brown shade. Just right on the center. And then on the lower lash line, what I'm going to do is I just take the first shade that we used and smudge that on the lower lash line, just for a really nice natural looking shadow. So all I did was add a dark brown liner to my upper lash line and some mascara, and then this is the final look with the smoky palette. Okay, so to start off this look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the matte cream shade in the palette and just set the entire lid area just as a nice base. When I was originally doing this look, I did not expect to do the green all the way on the lid, but I really thought it was pretty, so that just is what kind of happened. I'm really making sure to hit that brow bone so we can have a really kind of nice natural looking highlight color. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a crease brush and I'm going to go in with the Cool Toned Transition shade and throw that into the crease. Initially I was going to go in with the purples and the oranges because that's typically my kind of look that I do, but I wanted to show you guys something a little bit different with the green and the blues. Something a little deep and smoky, but not too much. At least for me, it's not too much. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cream shade again on a fluffy brush and just buff that right over the transition shade. Because these colors are really nice and bold, you do want to make sure that you are blending them because they can be just a little harder to blend just because of the color of the shadows. So then I'm going to take the Insta Pop eye brush this is the crease brush from Real Techniques, and go in with that beautiful green and just pack that all over the lid. I'm going to take a smaller crease brush from e.l.f. and go in with that really bright blue shade and work that into the crease first. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with this brush again from Wet n Wild and take the warm transition shade and just sort of buff that right over the edge of things just to make sure it all looks really nice and blended. Then I'm going to take my pencil brush here, like my flat brush, and take that green shade and push that right into the lower lash line. And then I'm going to take a smaller blending brush and go in with the blue. We're basically just doing the same thing that we did on the lid on the lower lash line. And then I'm going to take another pencil brush and go in with the cream and just hit it right on the lower lash line just to sort of really blend out all that color. Okay guys, so I just threw on some nude eyeliner in the lower lash line and some mascara and a nice coral lip, and this is the final look with the Jewel Pop palette. Okay, so those are just the looks that I created for this video. I can create endless looks with these palettes. If you do want to follow me on Instagram, I leave it down below. I do a lot of face of the days over there, so if you want to see some of these palettes in action and see how I create different looks with them, that is where you will see them. I only have so much time in a video, and I only have one face and two eyes, so I only can create so many looks for a video, but I wanted to show you guys how you could get a full look with the Jewel Pop, how you don't have to get a smoky look with the Holy Smokes. You can get a deeper look with the Nude Mood, and with the Summer Breeze, I just did the typical look that I love to wear. These are all just so different, so it just kind of, they each have their place in the collection. So if you are someone who likes cool tones, you might want to go towards more the Nude Mood. If you like warm, go towards Summer Breeze. If you like darker shades, go towards Holy Smokes. If you like a ton of color, go for Jewel Pop. But if you have them all, I don't see a ton of overlap. Yes, they all have a matte black, they all have some browns, but again, I like that I can mix and match, or I can just use one palette for a full look. So I think e.l.f. did a really good job in creating these palettes and making each one have its own identity within the collection. And I think that if you have all four, you wouldn't be disappointed. And I think if you just have one, you won't be disappointed. So that is it. I hope this was informative. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!